we are going to go for a rocket instead of a space plane. And we are going to do this with a probe. We can stick a nose cone on this thing. Which one is this? Sensor package. Yeah, sensor package. Oh, that's bigger than I thought it was. We'll use that one then. That one's not as good, but it's good enough. So we have a nose cone. We're going to need some batteries. A battery. This can have some basic solar panels. So we'll go with not that one. That one. That's the little one. Could use the little one actually. Yeah, we could go with that. Did we unlock the Clampotron Junior? I don't think we did we? No, we looked at the space plane stuff, so we can't use the Clampotron Junior for this. So this is going to have to be a proper rocket. We are going to need fuel on this for getting it into an orbit. So we can use... I've suddenly forgotten where everything is. Use one of those for getting it into orbit. Then decoupler, close. We'll have where's our three-way splitter? Propulsion, fuel tanks, and atomic engines for our transfer stage. See, this is probably overkill, isn't it, actually? We're only sending this little thing into space. Never mind. Oh, thank you for the follow. Awake 213210. Launch. We want. I'm going to try this because this is going to be quite a lightweight launcher, so we might not need that much to actually get it into space. I mean, you can never have too many boosters and too many fuel tanks. That's in the ground now. We're going to need some more struts on there, aren't we? Oh, and Dev123, Dev123, thank you for the follow too. Right, that didn't want to connect, so let's try it the other way around. That worked. There we go. Okay. Now, the all-important part is going to be our kethane scanner. Now, in the interest of keeping it balanced, no, you know what we do? You know what we'll do? Let's have a look at fairings. Fairing rings, aerodynamics, fairing base, going to make for one ugly fairing, isn't it? So, what if we put them on here? Tilt them up this way. Better. Whoa! Okay. That's what I wanted to do. There we go. And we'll go for conic. There we go. That's pretty slinky looking, actually, isn't it? I quite like that. Now, we didn't fit any RCS on this, did we? And then put that fairing back on. We need, yeah, we also need some RCS tanks because we didn't fit any RCS tanks. Oh yes we did, there's the RCS. Okay, so we don't need RCS tanks. And we're going to need a longer range dish, which we can use. Can we fit that up the top somewhere? Sure, we probably can. Ugly, yes. Practical, yes. Right, okay, so let's check our staging. We've got they let go and they fire, so that's fine. Then they all come off, then they fire, that's fine. Then they all come off, then they fire, then they all come off, then that fires. We don't want the fairing's going to want to come off before we do that. The fairing's probably going to come off down here somewhere because we're going to need the solar panels out. We'll put it up there though, just in case. Can always change that later. What are we going to call this thing? Proper rocket. Yep. Aunt Jemima. Hello, Aunt Jemima. Welcome. Let's call this the Minmascan 1. Minmascan 1. It's time to scan Minmas for minerals and ores and stuff so that we can see if we can build a colony there. Saving that, and we're going to send this out to the launch pad. Ooh, bit wobbly, bit wobbly. Might have needed some more struts up the top there. It's unmanned though, so we can launch it and find out. We are on the launch pad with the Minmascan 1, an unmanned probe which we are sending to Minmus after our spaceplane attempt failed abysmally. We are going to check first of all that we are correctly connected to, yeah, that's connected fine, so hopefully we will be okay during this launch. And we have no one coming with us, so we can't have a look and see how they're doing down here. We are just going to go ahead and say that we are putting our SAS on, we are putting our throttle up, and we are ready for launch. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Our solid boosters are pushing us in the right direction. Hopefully our SAS will keep us vertical, or as close to vertical as possible. We have the Ferrum Aerospace mod running, so we are going to attempt to start turning as early as possible. Wow, this thing. not easy to control. We're going in the wrong direction. No. No. Come back up. Please. It's not tipping right over, which is interesting. But it is going the wrong way. Probably because we're only using solid boosters. I could fire the liquid boosters, but I think we're actually going to regain control. Oh dear. What's going on there? Why is that spinning like that? That's atmosphere, isn't it? The atmosphere is just killing us. The atmosphere is quite thin up here, so let's... yeah. Not the best way to launch a rocket. Got a sneaking suspicion this thing is not going to Minmus. Oh, Princess Twilight, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. What sort of texture mods do you have? I have the EVE mod, the Environmental Visual Enhancements mod. I have the Texture Replacer, and I have one of the Reduxes for attack life support, I think it is. Are we actually going to recover this? Are we actually going to manage to get this thing into an orbit? Albeit a rather eccentric one, but that doesn't really matter if we're going to Minmus. Okay, this thing is actually going into orbit, I think. Despite the fact that we have very little control. Did we just run out of fuel? Yeah, we did. Dump that. Fire the nuclear engines. Okay, let's cut those. Let's see how we're doing here. Let's check our apoapsis and see what we need to get this thing in orbit. Because we're now burning our transfer stage, so 36. 95 by 99, that will take 1 minute and 3 seconds of burn at the apoapsis. We can do that. We certainly have enough fuel to do that. So let's give that a go. However, before we... There we go. We've got that on the SAS. Before we do that, let's move that down, ditch our fairing and get our solar panels out, and set up our communications. Target Trident. I'll tell you what, no, we'll target. What do we want? Trident 9. Activate. Yeah, there we go. So we can bounce off Trident 9 for the moment. In fact, we could go for Trident 9B. Because by the time we're up and we lose contact with mission control, we should be in a position to communicate with Trident 9B. So, okay, so we have a 1 minute 3 burn planned. So we are going to burn at T minus 32 seconds, 31 seconds. Something like that. Speed ourselves up a little bit to take us round there. And we are ready to burn. Right about now. Oh, you're kidding me. We lost communication just as I hit burn. And we're not close enough. We're not close enough to communicate with Trident 9B from there. And I can't change that now because nothing to send the command on. Oh. Well, that's a shame. Because that means we're probably not going to get this thing into orbit. Let's see if we do manage to get communication. Where is it going to be? It's going to be right around there somewhere, isn't it? Let's see when communication jumps back at us. Oh, we re-entered the atmosphere. Yeah. Okay. We've lost this one. This one's coming back down. Perhaps I needed a longer range omnidirectional antenna on that one. Oh, there we go. We just regained communication and the thing broke apart. Oh, Marshmallows 4205, new follower. Thank you very much. Thank you for the follow. This thing is crashing down into the mountains. And we'll get another one ready to go. There we go. Let's go back to the Space Center. We'll tweak that slightly. Okay, now I think perhaps I used the wrong engines on there. I think I used the 30s. Yeah, I actually meant to use the 45s because they have the thrust vectoring to give us the extra control we need at that point. However, we can also use the, what do we want? The R8s, or one of these is a winglet, smaller winglet variety. Yeah, that's a bit big. R8s, yeah, we can go with the R8s, and that should give us, where's our centre of mass? Okay, we'll move those up a bit then. We'll have some down here as well though, just to give us that extra bit, and move those out of the way, and that will hopefully give us a bit more stability. We will also add more struts. What's the range on those? 5 million meters. That should be enough, shouldn't it? We only need one of them. Where shall I put it? Put it up here. There we go. That should guarantee that we have communication. Once the fairing's off and we are up in orbit, then, well, once we're on our way to Minmus, then the dish should be sufficient. These guys should hopefully keep us in contact. Should we just attach another dish somewhere? So we could do something like that, and that will absolutely guarantee that we've got communication. In fact, I think we might do that. Let's do that and that, just to make sure. This thing's still probably going to be quite unstable, but hopefully these control surfaces will help. We could possibly add some extra reaction wheels somewhere, but in fact, yeah, let's do that. Let's take that off. That's going to mess everything up, isn't it? We'll add some more SAS on here. This is not 0.24 that I'm using. Sadly, I do not have access to 0.24. I wish I did. I will be using 0.24 when it becomes available. Unless it's become available in the last few minutes. If it has, please someone let me know and we can take a look at it. But I am using remote tech for the comms, not Infernal Robotics. So I think this is about ready for us to give it another go. So this is going to be the Minmascan 2. We're going to save this and we're going to send this out to the launch pad instead. Let's hope that that is stable enough. So we are back on the launch pad with the Minmascan 2, which has been tweaked to hopefully give us a bit more stability and hopefully to help us to maintain communication throughout the launch. We are putting our SAS on, we are putting our throttle up to 100%, and we are ready for another launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Hopefully a more stable liftoff this time. Still not stable. It's wobbling a bit. We're a bit fast for this altitude. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're going. 16,000 meters already though, so we need to be going a bit quicker. What? I think our staging might have been a bit wrong. Right, well, because this is an unmanned mission, I am going to break my rule. I would have got to 45,000 meters as well. I'm going to break my rule and I'm going to revert this to launch because we're not losing any Kerbals on this one. So here we are back on the launch pad again with the Minmascan 2, sticking with the Minmascan 2, but we have now fixed the staging issue, so hopefully we won't stage off our engines, we will just fire our engines. Our SAS is on, our throttle is up. We are, again, ready for launch. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we have a liftoff. Before we gain our speed, I'm going to see if we can start our arc, because we were ending up far too high. It was very difficult to control once we reached speed. And with Ferrum Aerospace, we should really be starting our gravity turns earlier. I'm really having to fight against this though. No, I can't cut the engines either. It was too early. It was too early. Or too fast, I suppose. Okay, so we are back on the launch pad again after a few unsuccessful launches. The last one was pilot error though. So we have our SAS on, we have our throttle up. We are ready for another launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lift off. Eek, 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 eek. This thing is really tricky to control. Oh no, we're losing it again. We're losing it again. And it falls apart again. Wow, this thing is so difficult to control. We'll go straight to the launch again. SAS is on, throttle is up, and we will launch in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this time we're just going to go straight up. I'm like the British version of Scott Manley. You do realise that Scott Manley is British, right? He's Scottish. That's part of Britain. Well, it's currently part of Britain. It may not always be part of Britain. They're trying to separate themselves. But so I'm the English version of Scott Manley. But I appreciate the. I take that as a compliment. I appreciate the suggestion. I am really struggling to control this thing still. It does. Marshmallows, your warning came slightly too late. This is getting ridiculous. Okay, so that goes there. We had very similar issues with staging last week, where I kept launching without without letting go of our launch stabilizers. This time, guys, we're going to Minmus this time. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. It should be called perhaps the flying brick, or the disaster waiting to happen as it spins over again. I wonder if I can keep control of it this time. Well, keep control of it, regain control of it as our engines deplete. It kind of almost did the gravity turn for us. Detach them, fire them, and this... Why? Why? Why is it spinning? Why is it spinning? That makes no sense. I suppose the atmosphere is still too thick, isn't it? We need altitude. We need speed. We don't have either. Now that the atmosphere is a bit thinner, we might be able to recover this. We almost managed it last time. Just run out. we will... Let's hide that, don't need that. We will be getting out of the atmosphere. Let's take that to about 80, then cut our engines. And then see how long we need to burn to bring that to a proper orbit. What will that be? 34 seconds. Okay, 34 seconds isn't bad. We're a bit upside down. Let's turn ourselves around and get ourselves on target. Okay, SAS will hold us there. Now, this is where we started to have issues last time because of our communications. So, let's get this... Whoops. Oh, come on. That's a Reflectron. I want this one. Communitron, good. Activate. What? Have we all... I don't believe it. We lost communication just as I was sorting out the communications. How annoying. This is my last attempt. After that I'm giving up. I'll do it as an off-stream mission instead. Right, so we're on the launch pad. We are going to fix the staging first before I forget. Now, we're going to do it differently. We're going to set our targets first. We're going to have... we're going to target the debris. No, we're not. We're going to target Trident 9. Activate. We're going to target Trident 9B. Activate. That is going to start using some of our electric charge. But once we get up, we can get our solar panels on. These won't break off. I think we're good. I think we're good. Right. Let's try it again. SAS on, throttle up, ready for launch in, can't be bothered to count down, 1, 0. Electrical charge is dropping very quickly. It's a little concerning. I'm going to turn one of these off. 9B is not going to be in range for a while. In fact, I can turn off that one as well for the moment. No gravity turn. 0 gravity turn at this stage. There we go. Dump them. Fire that, and now we'll gravity turn. Certainly not the most fuel efficient or the most recommended way to launch. But it is more fuel efficient than burning towards the ground. Apoapsis is already out of the atmosphere. I really couldn't care less at this stage. how we're supposed to do things, but who cares? Where's the Trident 9 one? Activate. Yay, we have communication with Trident 9. That should keep us going for a while. This is how the launch was supposed to go. What? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We lost an engine. We're never going to get into orbit now. I can't throttle up. The SAS can't hold it. Yeah, this is how the launch is supposed to go. Bang. Come on. Come on. Get us some kind of orbit. Is the SAS keeping us in control? It looks like it is actually, but let's pop the fairings. Get these guys out before we run out of... Well, we're not going to run out of power while we're burning with those, are we? SAS can't quite handle that level of throttle. We're now entering the atmosphere again. If we can get fast enough, we will be able to get ourselves back out of the atmosphere, but at this stage, that's not going to happen. Close. We are close. The SAS is not quite strong enough to hold us level. Go on, tell me we're fast enough. Let's speed us up. We are coming back out of the atmosphere, guys. In some strange roundabout way, we have managed to get this thing into orbit. So now we need to start planning how on earth we're going to get to Minmus. Now, if we burn, again, not the most fuel efficient maneuver, but at this stage, I don't really care. Okay. What does that give us a periapsis of? 890, that'll do. Okay. Node in 30 minutes. Which means we need to spin round. It's round there, so we're going to need to change which satellite we're connected to. So we'll activate that. This one wasn't doing anything, not that one. That one wasn't doing anything, so we'll deactivate that. We're on the sunny side, are we? We are. We'll be burning on the dark side, I think. Oh no, we'll just have sun by the time we get around there, so that's good. We're going to have to do it gently. Let's try starting it now. Again, I can't quite burn at full throttle. In fact, I can't burn anything like full throttle. Oof. Okay, went a little bit too far. Okay, we have a rendezvous. What height is it at? 1.8 kilometers, that's a bit much. That's better, 740. What's going on there? Have to fix whatever's going on there. En route. Oh! Look at that, suddenly got power. Spin ourselves around so we get a better sunlight. Do these have sufficient range in that case? 90 millimeters they do, yeah. Right, okay, so let's sure we are actually getting a rendezvous. And then, hopefully, without losing communication, we will do a retrograde burn. I'm not going to do it right at the periapsis because I think that will lose us communication. Well, there we go. We have an orbit around Minmus. Somehow. Now, we are travelling east to west, horizontally around Minmus. Ideally, we want to be doing what this one is doing. And going in a polar orbit. To do that, we will, at our periapsis, apparently, fly off to the middle of nowhere. Okay. 20-second burn. Bit of a weird one. Doable. I wonder if we should do it. I think maybe we should dump this engine stage now, and we'll switch to this engine at last. Which means it won't be a 20-second burn. Whoa! We now have lots and lots of control. Get ourselves pointing at target, and we'll do a quick full throttle, zero throttle. 15 seconds, okay, fair enough. Spin us round to Make sure we're on target, and we may actually have this thing up and running. We are under 200,000 meters, 200 kilometers all the way around. So we may actually finally be in a position to start scanning for resources. Let's make sure we are facing the sun sufficiently. It's very difficult to control it at this stage because there is signal delay. However, our power seems stable. Let's see what happens when we activate one of our scanners. Activate detector. Power is stable. The detector is running. Let's turn on the keythane controls and show our grid. And we should see at some point, if we speed things up a little bit, where are we focused at the moment? I can't see where we're actually scanning. Ah, there we go. So we are finding keythane and substrate at the moment. We can... oh look, that's an easier way of showing it. So there's the substrate that we're finding, and there is keythane there as well. If we speed up the scan, we should see these little blobs. Circulate around the planet. Where are we? Over there. There we are. We've almost completed a cursory scan of the whole of Minmus. Yeah, I'm not going to scan every hex. I'm just going to scan the largest regions. I'll leave it scanning, of course, but it only scans while you're watching it, so... we're covering most of the planet this way, so of the moon, sorry, it's not a planet. Planetoid, almost. Right, okay, so let's slow us down, leave that orbiting. What do we have? Whoa. Hide that. Right, we have water here. There's a fair bit of water around the South Pole, some around the North Pole, so it's looking like there's not much water on the equator. So one of these South Pole areas is going to be where we're looking. Substrate seems to be quite plentiful. Water, not so much. This area here is looking very... mind you, ores are going to be quite important too, and they're not particularly plentiful down here. Right, substrate there, water there, keythane there-ish, minerals there, or there. Somewhere in this area here on the South Pole, looks like it might be where we want to be planning to put our colony. Substrate, water, and ore. See here, they're all there, with the exception of the keythane and the ores. But the ores are not particularly far away. I don't know what implication that will have, but that's not a bad spot. for our colony. So I think we may have found our colony location, thanks to this extremely frustrating and tedious mission, which was eventually actually a success. So thank you, little scan probe. You can continue scanning. You've got plenty of fuel left. You could probably get back to back to Kerbin with that fuel. But there we go, guys. We have successfully scanned Minmus for all the resources we need for the modular colonization system. It has been a very tricky and frustrating live stream this week. Hopefully next week will be less frustrating and tricky, as we plan to actually start constructing our colony on Minmus. If you have not yet followed on Twitch, please be sure to do so now, so that you get notification next week when we go live to start the building of the Minmus Elitopia colony. If you're watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you think, and if you have any tips as to how we should build our colony on Minmus, or if you've spotted a better location on Minmus, please do place a comment and let me know. I have been Albristo, you have been watching Elitopia Gaming, and you have been watching Kerbal Space Program Live. I will be back next week. I hope that you will be too. I will see you next time, guys. See you later.